Welcome to the Dyslexia Mom Life Podcast, your go-to podcast for dyslexia education and community. As moms, we want the best for our children, and when you're raising a child with dyslexia, that journey comes with unique twists and turns. Each week, we dive into dyslexia topics along with episodes on how to thrive in your dyslexia season as a mom, all with the goal of helping your child and your family thrive. Tune in for conversations that will inspire, inform, and connect you with a community that truly understands. You are not alone. We're in this together. Subscribe now and join in the conversation and community. You got this.
Hi, friend. You're listening to episode 146, From Frustration to Confidence, How Assistive Technology Helps Dyslexic Kids Thrive. So, in this episode, I'm going to be diving into, of course, assistive technology, and specifically talking about what is assistive technology. You may be wondering or struggling with, is it too early to introduce assistive technology? Will it help my child learn or make them dependent on it? What are the best tools out there, and how do I get started? I've been in your shoes. I absolutely know how it feels to watch your child struggle for hours on homework. They're already exhausted and frustrated from the school day, just trying to make it through the day. And now they're trying to decode just a few sentences to do the homework, and it seems like it's taking forever. We discovered along the way, though, that assistive technology really can be a game changer. So our child went through dreading to read to actually enjoying learning again, and is actually an avid reader now in 8th grade. So today I'm going to share a few things with you. First, I'm going to share again what assistive technology is, what are some signs that your child may be ready for that, a little bit about what's called a C-Pen reader and Learning Ally, which we love. They're both very powerful tools for dyslexic learners, and how to introduce these tools to your child without guilt and without hesitation, and how this assistive technology can empower your child rather than replace skill building. I know that's definitely a question people have. So grab your water, get comfy, and let's dive in. Let's start with the definition of what is assistive technology so that you and I are on the same page. I used the definition from the International Dyslexia Association, what we referenced as the IDA, you'll hear most people say. So they define an assistive technology tool as a tool that allows a learner to complete a task that the learner could not complete independently. So the example they gave is an individual who's visually impaired and them using a screen reader so that way they're able to read what's on the page and be able to have access to that text independently. So without a screen reader enabled on their computers, they wouldn't be able to actually absorb or hear or learn any of the information in the text independently. So in this example, it's pretty obvious what is needed, right? But when you think about our kids that are dyslexic, it may not be as obvious, but think about what they need access to. Our kids it's vital that they have some type of tool for student learning, some type of text to speech, speech to text. There's all types of technology there that helps translate written text into audio. And if you've been on any kind of social media and you've done any kind of research for reading or dyslexia, you've probably seen a lot of ads for these pieces and these assistive technology options and tools out there. And so when we think about dyslexia, there really are some pieces that can really help support your child. So when we think about those various aspects of literacy and the best way to help your child read and express their knowledge and really thinking through what's in writing, it's really not possible without some type of assistive technology. However, not every device or app is appropriate for every task. So you have to really think about these 4 components when you're thinking about the assistive technology. So the 4 components are, and don't worry, you don't need to write this down. We have all of this in the show notes, and you can click from the description to the website, and it has all the show notes there for you. So through the research that the International Dyslexia Association did, they found these 4 components: student, environments, task, and tools. That was the framework that they referenced as it related to supporting students. So the first one is the student. What is the component that we're focusing on for the specific characteristic of the assistive technology? Are we looking at strengths and challenges and interests and preferences? Essentially, this component decides who the user is. So really looking at your child's learner profile. What is it that is an area that this assistive technology could, lean in and assist with? Environments. The environment component really focuses on the setting in which the tool is going to be used. So for a student, this could be a classroom, this could be at home, this could also be in if they have any type of study hall. So that could look different for different people, right? But this particular piece describes where it's going to be used. Task. Task is the third element. So this component really focuses on the specific task the user needs to do in order to be successful and meet expectation and requirements. So often this task involves several subtasks. So, there might be other components that you're looking at, but essentially the component describes what the user needs to do. And then finally, the fourth component there is looking at the tools themselves, focusing on the specific tools that the person needs or the student needs to successfully complete the identified task. So this really begins by identifying what are some available tools, such as a classroom computer, a tablet, a personal smartphone. What do you already have access to? And then identify the potential devices or apps that might be better suited for a specific task. So it could be that maybe you're using Grammarly as an app on your child's Chromebook or something to that regards to help them through those pieces. So it really is looking at describing how the user is going to accomplish the task in that environment. So when you think about having these conversations with your school about assistive technology, bringing these four components in as a framework to think about, looking at the student, the environment, the task, and the tools will really help you partner with the school to come up with what is the best resource for your child and the best tool. And then these are questions you can ask as well as you start thinking about what type of assistive technology tools your child may need. If you're not going to focus on something that's used at school, it's primarily used at home, that's fine as well. It may be that you start out using it at home and you find that it transitions well to school. You may also ask your school. Our school actually uploaded Grammarly on our daughter's Chromebook, so she has access to it as a school tool. So, finding out what your schools have available is also really important. You may be wondering, when is the right time to introduce assistive technology? I get that question a good bit from families. When is the right time? And how is this going to work? Is this going to interfere with their remediation and their tutoring? Well, here's the truth. There is no magic time. There is no magic age. It's not about a grade level or how many phonics lessons that your child's completed or how many Orton Gillingham pieces they've completed. It's about reducing frustration and increasing confidence so your child can learn at their level. So if your child struggles to read grade level material independently, if your child tires quickly while reading, even with intervention, if your child understands concepts but struggles to put thoughts on paper, or really either one, if your child gets frustrated or avoids reading altogether. So you may be saying it's all of those, right? It's all the above, Nicole. It's all the above. And so really, having that partnership with whoever you're working with through your reading specialist and your school, having that partnership and saying, this is a direction I want to start looking, and really looking at it through the lens of, this is not a shortcut, right? This is a way to reduce their frustration and increase their confidence. If you said yes to the things we just talked about, then as far as those struggles to read independently, tiring quickly, understanding concepts but can't get it on paper, or they just get frustrated to the point where they avoid reading, then it is time. It is time to introduce assistive technology. And guess what? It's not a crutch. It's a tool for success. So it's all about the way you frame it to your child and to your school and to the individuals working with your child. So when you think about it being a tool for success, that is such a different language than individuals thinking it's a workaround, right? It's almost like you're cheating. That's not the case. But won't assistive technology, won't it replace learning to read? So if you're worried that, and I get this, right? It is a worry. I've had that before when I started looking at these different available tools for my child. But here's the key. Assistive technology supports learning. It doesn't replace it. It is a tool. Think of it like this. Glasses don't teach a child to see, but they make learning possible. Wheelchairs don't teach someone how to walk, but they provide mobility. And assistive technology doesn't replace reading instruction, but it removes barriers to learning. If your child is spending so much mental energy decoding words that they can't focus on comprehension, they're missing out on learning. Let me say that again. If your child is spending so much time on the mental energy of decoding words, they can't focus on comprehension, then they're missing out on learning. If your child is constantly trying to decode words, then by the time they get to the end of the sentence, they don't know what the sentence was about. They just know that they read these words in isolation. So technology really does help them to engage with the content while continuing structured literacy intervention. Now, one of the pieces that we use still and used at a very young age, which was a huge game changer for our family, is Learning Ally. I really enjoy Learning Ally, and it really does unlock a whole world of audiobooks for your child at a whole different level of learning and really encompassing reading. So what is Learning Ally? So Learning Ally is an audiobook service. It is a fee. It is actually created on the platform of helping students with dyslexia. That is why it's there. Many schools, the private schools we've been in, have provided us with login credentials, so we did not have to pay for it separately. But I'll take that back. I did one year when we were transitioning from one school to another. But it had been previously, and it is now part of, what's the word I'm looking for? An available resource or tool the school had. And so unlike a regular audiobook, I love Learning Ally because it includes a human-read narration and that it syncs with the text. So your child can follow along and it will highlight the text as it's reading. And so they're being exposed to the language and the words as they're reading along with the book. And I love that because they can speed it up, they can slow it down, however they want to do that. Why is it so powerful? Well, what's so great is that it gives your child access to grade level books. So no more being stuck with those easy books while classmates read advanced books. That best friend that's reading those chapter books, your child can read right along beside them. It also improves comprehension because listening while following along, like I said a moment ago, with those texts really strengthens that vocabulary and frequency. So the more exposure your child has to language and to vocabulary, it really will help their comprehension. And there's a whole piece in Shaywitz's book, Understanding Dyslexia. There's a chart in there I love. It's like a chart. It's like a stack of books, and I don't have it right in front of me right now, but she talks about in there about just how much you read with your child and how much more language and words and vocabulary they're exposed to on a daily basis. And so as our children get older and they're more independent and they want to be able to take some of that on, they don't want to sit and have you read to them, then this gives you another opportunity for your child to really be immersed in some reading and really be able to work independently. And it reduces reading anxiety. Instead of struggling through a book, your child can actually enjoy a story. And it can support homework success. Many school textbooks are available as well, making studying a little less stressful for your child. And especially when you think about English, I know every grade level I can think of that my daughter's been in so far, and we're almost in high school, there's always been required summer reading, especially at the private schools we've attended in Atlanta, sometimes multiple books, sometimes one book. There's always some type of project that goes with it for the beginning of the school year. And being able to have the book, but also have this supplemental reading if your child is trying to get through some books that are required at school and maybe they're exhausted, right? Like it's a Saturday and we've got 2 more chapters and they don't want you to read to them, then this is another avenue that you could take where they could listen to the book. They still have the actual book if they need to annotate the book itself and things like that. So when we were first introduced to Learning Ally, I worried, would this make my child or make my daughter rather stop trying to read on her own? But it didn't. It really gave her the opportunity to really start enjoying books again, and she can get on there and she can type in keywords and find books that she didn't know existed. She can search by grade level, or she can search by, I don't know, like horses. If your child wanted to look horses up, and it would pull up all the books about horses. So it really is a way where your child can be exposed to reading and get that piece of enjoyment back, where they're not exhausted after 10 minutes. They continue to be engaged and they continue to foster that love of learning, because we definitely don't want them to miss that. Another piece you may have seen, another assistive technology component, or I guess option. Another one I wanted to talk about briefly today. I'm only really going to talk about 2 or 3 here. And this one is the C Pen reader. And it can really be a game changer for that independent reading. And so the C Pen is a great choice for, again, building independence. Your child would be able to use it. It literally looks like a big pen, but it's not big enough that it won't slide down in a backpack. It can slide into a pencil pouch really easily. But they literally just take it like a highlighter, and they just, take it across the whatever that might be that they're trying to read, a workbook, worksheets, textbook, even a menu if you're out, somewhere eating, and it will help them be able to read through those pieces. And it works anywhere. You don't have to have an internet connection. Again, it just scans and listens. It's discreet because it's small. It's not a big, bulky device. It looks more like a pen. And it really does support reading growth. So hearing those words while seeing them again will help word recognition. So that's another piece that if your schools have access to C Pens, that may be an option for you to look into as well. Another tool that you might think about as well is Microsoft Word, and Microsoft Products has a lot of audio options in there as well. And there's a podcast, I'll have to put it in the show notes because I can't remember the exact episode number, but we interviewed someone from Microsoft that is all about education tools, and she talks about the resources they have as it relates to the Word products and what audio features they have for students. The other piece is like I said earlier, my daughter uses Grammarly at school. And so there could be pieces of that assistive technology your child may even already have access to, and you just didn't realize it, or you haven't asked, so the school hasn't provided it. Many times, though, the school's providing it, and you may not even be aware of it. All right, so finally, here we go. We're going to talk about how to introduce the assistive technology without guilt. So if you're feeling hesitant, oh my gosh, I completely hear you, right? Like, this is not how we learned in school. We've been taught that our kids just have to tough it out, that it'll just get better. But dyslexia doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And so we have to lean in and give our children the tools they need that empowers them. So step 1, let's frame it as a tool, not a shortcut. We say things like, this is going to help you learn better, just like glasses help people see, right? Step 2, you're going to let your child explore the technology. Give them time to play around with a C Pen, Learning Ally, whether it's the Microsoft Word features or Grammarly. You could do the free version. Just let them play around with it without any pressure that they have to use it. Let them try it out for fun on some material before using it at school. So give them that opportunity to just explore along beside you. 3, pair it with structured literacy. Remember, this tech it supports the learning, but it doesn't replace the learning. So remember, you have to pair it with something. It's not in isolation. So keeping up with that instruction, that structured literacy instruction, while allowing your child to have access to grade level material, that's what those assistive tools are for. Step 4 is crucial, communicating with your teachers. Let teachers know your child's using the tech so that they can support your child in the classroom. Many schools will allow Learning Ally and C Pen readers as an accommodation. Keep in mind, too, that they may already be using these things. And so having these conversations about what tools are available or what tools are they open to trying at their school, it could really open the door for other students as well. And so when you're thinking about those things, there's having that communication with the teacher is vital, because you never want that to come out as if there is a shortcut. That's not how you're viewing it. It's not viewed as a shortcut. It's about removing obstacles so your child can thrive. And when you frame it that way, you're going to get a completely different response from schools. I guarantee it. And finally, again, encouragement. I love this word. So if your child is struggling, know this, that you're not failing them. You're giving them the tools that they need so they can succeed in their own way. So if you're ready to explore some assistive technology, you can start with Learning Ally if you need that for audiobooks to bring stories to life. If you want to try out the C Pen reader for independent reading, that's an option. If you want to dig in, you may be using Microsoft Word products already, or Microsoft products, or Microsoft Office. You can do a quick Google search, or I will also, like I said, put a link in the description to that actual podcast if you want to go back and listen to the options that the Microsoft educator talks about. And then Grammarly is another great free resource. And with Grammarly, there is a free version. You can use it up to so many suggestions, and then you have to pay for that or wait till it kind of resets. But if you're really wanting to give your child access to stories, I would start with Learning Out Loud. That's the first place we started before we pivoted to any other tools. And it's really neat. It's set up like a bookshelf so they can pick their books, and you can also put grade level books on there for them. You can also ask teachers what books they suggest they put on there. If you've got summer reading, you can put those in there. So really, that's the first place I would start if you're new on the journey for dyslexia and you're trying to figure out where to start with. It really does help kind of level things for them and bring them up to it gives them the opportunity to have that grade level success with that material. So that's it for today's episode. If this helped you, please share it with another mom who needs it. And if you're loving the podcast, I'd be so grateful if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts so that other moms can also find us. So until next time, remember, assistive technology isn't giving up, it's giving your child the tools to succeed. Remember, you are not alone. You got this.